Hi, I'm Andy Parr, and you're watching The Gadget Guru. In a moment, I'm going to introduce you to this guy right here. And while I'm not going to tell you what he does yet, I will tell you that he works for this company right here. So we're going to talk about a bunch of things Prevost related, and that starts right now on The Gadget Guru. Okay, this is Steve Zeigler. Now, Steve, and I'm going to read this from your card. You're the Director of Business Development of the Bus Shell Division for Prevost, and you're located in Arizona?
I live in Arizona. I'm on the road just about every week. So Robert Jones and I, we're the only two employees within our Shell Division. I manage the Shell Division. I work on pretty much all of our business around the motorhome, entertainer, and then in the specialty markets where people will use our platform for something other than a motorhome or entertainer bus.
When I look at your title, my first assumption is that you're the guy who goes to the various converters and you're the factory contact. You sell them shells, or
yes.
You get their allocations or get their forecast.
That's correct. We sit down with them every quarter. We have an 18-month rolling forecast with all of our converter partners, and we're looking out 18 months so we can schedule the shells that they need to come into their production to create these beautiful motorhomes.
Okay, and let me point out that the reason that we're meeting, I decided this is my first Prevost rally.
Okay.
We're at the Marathon Spring Fling. We're in their offices in San Antonio, Florida, and I'm guessing there's probably 40 coaches here or so. We had a morning of seminars, and we got to hear from the Marathon folks. The president of Marathon, gave a real nice presentation, and even better, we had an opportunity for questions and answers. And
sure.
You did the same thing. And we were talking, quite a bit about, what's going on with Prevost today. But let me go backwards. And what I've been trying to do in my series is allow people to follow along of what decisions I was making while I was shopping and how I ended up with this bus right here. Let's face it, I was enamored by a number of Class A manufacturers. There's some gorgeous models.
Absolutely.
Everybody says, floor plan, floor plan, floor plan.
Right.
Well, as I looked further into it, I realized the chassis is so much more important.
Sure.
I've been talking a lot here. I'll turn it over to you. Tell me why that makes a difference and what separates Prevost apart from everybody.
Sure. Andy, number one, welcome to the Prevost family. We're honored that you finally landed in a Prevost and that you're in a bus. Once we get you, we doubt you'll ever move out of our product. You'll just continue to upgrade. So
thank you.
We're very honored to have you in our product. And truly, when you're in our product, you're a part of our family. You become a part of our family. We've been in business for 95 years, and family is what built this company for Prevost. The uniqueness about us and what does set us apart, to answer your question, is we're a commercial bus. We're not a chassis and then with a body built around it. We started out as a commercial bus manufacturer. We have a cage here, a monocoque construction cage. It's complete stainless steel. We have the best welders in the business. So when you're going down the road, you're going down in a cage. You're not on a body on chassis type. Again, Class A, not to knock the Class A's because there are some gorgeous units out there, but it's a commercial platform. A lot of people could consider it overkill for the motorhome side of the business that we're in, based off of the mileage that typical motorhomers use and put on a coach annually. We have some of our commercial customers put 2 million miles on the same platform that you happen to be in. They're Greyhound, for an example, that are running buses all over the country. They have a few buses out there with 2 million miles on it. So it's truly a commercial vehicle. And so that's the thought process that goes into our shells.
And I'd kind of like, let's get some misnomers
out
there. When I'm shopping and I was looking for a new top tier Class A. Now, I'm going to talk suggested retails because we all know there's a lot of margin. And if you're going in to buy a bus, no matter what it is, if it's a Class A or a true bus, and don't look at the MSRP. So you got to sit down and have a conversation to figure out what they cost. But let's say I'm looking at the MSRP of a top tier Class A, but then I'm looking at a pre-owned Prevost that's 7 or 8 years old. The price, it wasn't as much of a leap as you would think it is. And the difference is that you take a bus like this, and I noticed this, I mentioned this on another video, when I was at the Prevost Stuff Show in Tampa, My only complaint of that show, because there were 50 some odd buses on the floor, was that each bus did not have a requirement to have in the window what year it was and how much they were asking. Because you could have 3 coaches side by side that were 15 years apart in difference, and you couldn't tell.
Sure.
These things really hold up well. But the other factor is, now that the price is not that much of a stair step, is the safety aspect.
Sure.
How does this separate itself from the pack?
Well, I think because we start out as a commercial vehicle, we have safety concerns. One of our Prevost, we're owned by the Volvo organization, but before we were owned by Volvo, Prevost, safety was one of our core values, and it still is today. So because we're building a commercial bus that is designed to carry 56 passengers down the road comfortably and safely, we're starting out already with a unit that has that in mind. We're not, it doesn't have another application when it's being birthed at the factory. So from a safety perspective, which is a core value, we constantly are thinking about, the weight ratings, the length, the width. We have to meet a certain parameter because it's federally mandated in our commercial side of the business. We have no wiggle room there. So everything's built around safely transporting people. And in a motorhome application, again, typically 2 to 4 people are driving in a motorhome at one time, but still the thought process that we have, there's 56 people plus the driver that are required, that are looking to us to provide something safe for their unit.
The standards that we're looking at for a motorhome conversion in a Prevost, it's the same standards you're looking at on a commercial bus.
Identical, since it's the same platform, and we have to sell it in the commercial side of the business as well as the private side of the business, but our mandates are to build something for the commercial market.
Again, let's just throw the name Greyhound. If you're in a Greyhound bus and it is a Prevost conversion, it's the same safety factor as what you're getting in home. There's no
Absolutely, absolutely. Our flooring that the converters tie their seats down into and that they build their furniture on top down is the same that we have our 56 passengers with the 3-point seat belts inside. So it's the same structure, the same all the parameters that are required in a commercial vehicle to take passengers safely down the road are in the same platform that is built on a motorhome.
Okay, speaking of safety, one of the items that was on my must-have list, and this is one reason why I was really focused on Class 8, was an adaptive cruise system.
Okay.
And there's very little information online. I think I looked at a Prevost video from 2012.
Correct.
On the Prevost Aware system. I believe that's a Bendix system. It was one of their videos explaining. And I don't know if you can see it in this shot, but down here there is a camera lens or some sort.
Sure.
I guess you're using various technologies. And if you're not familiar with adaptive cruise, it's just like what it is, or the Prevost Aware, it's just like it is in an adaptive cruise system in the car.
Exactly.
Instead of setting cruise control and then having to hit your brake when you get a car, it monitors the car in front of you or the truck, and it buffers. And Prevost uses a 1.7 second buffer between you and the car in front of you. If needed, lets off the accelerator, activates the engine brake, and if needed, activates the foot or surface brake. Am I getting it right?
You've got it down just perfect.
Okay, well, thank you. I've been practicing.
You're very good.
And I have to tell you, if you're shopping for a coach too, and again, it all depends on your budget, I think it's must-see TV.
Oh, absolutely.
It's something you have to have on there. But you announced in 2012, I believe with the X3, the first model you actually...
That is correct.
So I have an early X3.
You have one of the early ones, for sure.
And that's what got me over here. Now, I have another interview online with the president of Spartan Motors. He's a wonderful guy, very open about his product. They've been pioneering their collision mitigation system, which combines their adaptive cruise, collision avoidance, whatever. It's pretty much very similar. I think they're using a WebCore or a Meritor type of system.
Correct,
they're both comparable. There is one big difference. When they are trailing a vehicle ahead, it's timed on, I want to say it's 3.6 seconds.
3.6, okay.
And Prevost at 1.7 seconds. I have noticed granted, you're at 40 miles an hour.
Sure.
And it's an ample distance. When you're at 65 miles an hour, it seems like you're a little close. Is there a reason? Is a 1.7 system safe? I mean, does it give you enough time to stop?
I think it is. A lot of our technology that we have adapted came out of the Volvo organization, and they've they are ahead of us in their R&D, and so we're able to adapt some of their products because they're in the trucking industry and they test a lot of these products. So we don't put them on and we don't come up with the 1.7 on our own. We're using it based off of real life commercial applications out there. I don't know what options we'll come out with in the future. You know, as technology changes with these type of systems, we'll continue to adapt and then change what we do. But I'm not sure. We can have more technical guys talk to you about what's available out there.
This is a plea. Yeah. Hopefully you'll show this to the folks back home.
Absolutely.
And by the way, I'm a big Volvo fan. I'm on my third Volvo. I'm currently driving a 2017. It's a limited edition model, XC90 Excellence model.
Very
Volvo
nice.
Guys, you're going to know what that car is. And I'm really big on having a safe vehicle that's comfortable. So,
sure.
I'm a big fan of what they do. Now, speaking of that vehicle, one thing that they added in 2000, I don't remember if it was 16 or 17, was an autopilot or auto-steer program. How far are we away from you already have the speed aspects of having some sort of semi-autonomous driving in recreational motorhome chassis?
Yeah, I think you're going to see that application sooner than later in the RV business. I think Prevost, we're going to probably be late to the market on that. Again, because we're starting out with a commercial platform. They're not allowing that technology into that. You're going to see it in the trucking industry when it comes to commercial. You're going to see it in the trucking industry first because they're not hauling people, they're hauling products and goods. Mm-hmm. When you start looking at one of our core businesses, and that's the Greyhound or the 56 passenger charter buses, when it comes to people, the government's going to very heavily mandate what can be done when it comes to that. They want us to put aware type systems on. They want us to put as many systems we can on. But when you're hauling people, they still want to focus on that driver training and making sure the driver has as much control as possible rather than turn it over. We'll get there, but it's going to have to be proven in other industries prior to it getting into the transportation.
I think it's been 2 years since Freightliner has put in testing. I believe they have been on the road for nearly 2 years in Nevada.
Yes.
Semi-tractor trailers that are autonomous.
That is correct.
Volvo is well known. Was Volvo the one that did this stunt with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yeah, absolutely.
They jumped truck to truck. So you're seeing it in commercial.
Absolutely.
Here's what I told the folks at Marathon, and I bought, granted, it's a fairly recent, but a pre-owned model, that if a year and a half from now, if I'm really using this and I'm having a great time and I'm enjoying it and really getting value out of ownership and having a pleasant ownership experience, and here's the and we're going to underline here. And when Prevost comes out, at least with the semi-autonomous method of keeping you in the lane on the highway.
Yes.
But with the visibility on your section, so it's not that.
Right.
Then maybe I'll talk about building myself.
Yeah, oh, sure.
So maybe the folks at Marathon will put some pressure on.
Staying in the lanes. You're already seeing that in the automotive industry for sure, and in the commercial side. Staying in the lanes. More. The next series of the aware type systems that are going off of some of it's radar, some of it's satellite. It's pretty amazing how quickly that technology is coming to the forefront in the automotive world. We'll quickly adapt what we can. Well, I don't see us ever turning, probably not in my lifetime, turning complete transportation over to computers going down the road. But I think there'll always be a human part of moving people and moving large pieces of equipment like this.
Do you think that as new versions come out, that it'll be similar to firmware, that there will be some level of backwards compatibility as long as you already have the chassis that is aware able?
Yes, I think we look at things differently because of the way technology keeps advancing with this type of with the technology and how quickly it moves. We're looking, everything we do is, okay, how can we take that back and adapt it to the units that are out there, and how far back can we go? We always look at that type of thing now because it becomes a parts and service opportunity for us to bring people into our shops and bring it into the converters like here at Marathon and let them add items and not forcing the hand of somebody like you that when we come out with some new technology that, we left you out of it. So you'd either have to buy new. Of course, there's some items where you have to buy new only, but an item like this, when it comes to safety, we want to go into it with open eyes saying, okay, how far back can we go and allow this as an aftermarket upgrade?
You brought up parts and service, and that's a perfect segue into what I'd like to hit for our final portion of this segment. And that's one of the reasons I chose not only Prevost but a Marathon. I spent the last 2 years on forums. Mainly they were Class A, RV forums, as well as, both the Prevost Owners Group and Prevost Community and other, even, the Newell groups. And one thing that just made me know it was a good idea to spend more to get this was the availability of service. And I intend, and I'm one of these people, I figure the only way to change things is to be vocal. When I look at the Class A business, granted, they have some great things, some great prices, but when I look at what they're doing to those poor users, somebody goes out and buys a $500,000 motorhome. Granted, that's a heck of a lot of money to
Absolutely.
99% of us out there. And then when they have a problem, they have to make an appointment to meet to a service advisor. And that could take months. It might take a few more months to get into actually the problem solved. And people have asked me, why did I go with Marathon? And you're sitting, and I'll answer that right now. They're one of the few Prevost converters that I've found. In other words, you got to work with all the converters. Not trying to trash you. They have 3 locations. They have Florida, they have Texas, and they have Oregon. And hopefully something more coming soon, but that's a pretty good start. But they do everything there. They do sales, they do parts, they do service. You can have cabinetry worked on at all 3. Now, to get to the Prevost part of that equation, let's talk about your service on 2 aspects. What do you have available for consumer motorhomes? And what do we have to do to keep these things up and running? Is it complicated?
I think anymore it's becoming easier to keep them up, especially with the support structure that we have built in. We've got 11 currently Prevost-owned facilities around the U.S. and Canada. Our plans are to continue to build a new facility every 1 year or 18 months. Because as our business continues to grow, and there are some points throughout the U.S. where we need facility. For example, we don't have a permanent facility right now in the Midwest. We're selling a lot of product out there, a lot up in that area on our commercial side of the business. Motorhomers live up in that area, so we look at that. Right now we're supplementing the areas where we don't have a service facility with service vans. We treat it like a garage door, so you'd call our Jacksonville, Florida location, and if we've got a service van down in the Orlando area or down in Naples, for example, we'll treat that like a garage door, and if it's something that our mobile service can offer, they'll come to you rather than you having to bring it up.
And again, that was another thing that really kind of won me over, and that's your Prevost Pass program. I don't even know what Pass stands for. All I know is that
Prevost Action Service.
Prevost Action Service.
Yes.
What's the second S for?
Prevost Action Service.
Something.
Okay. I should know that.
Yeah, but all I know, it comes with a toll-free number. And whether you buy a new or pre-owned, it doesn't matter if it's in or out of warranty. If you have a problem, you have somebody who answers the phone 24/7 to help. Is that correct?
That is correct. It doesn't have to be under warranty still. That somebody will always pick up that number, and we'll get you to a facility, to a technician to help you through your question and answer period, and ideally we'll send somebody out or get you to the next location safely.
Okay, what is the warranty on a new Prevost?
On a new Prevost, 2 years, unlimited miles, and then we have the engine and transmissions that are set up under various warranties, but typically on the motorhome side it goes out to 5 years, unlimited miles.
I'm fortunate that when the original owner, as I bought this pre-owned, purchased this, had it built new, he purchased the extended warranty, and it's, I don't even know if there was a fee. I was told it might have been a $100 fee, but it's transferable to me.
Yes.
And that's on, I believe, the engine, chassis, and transmission.
Correct.
And that takes me out to mid-2018.
Okay, yep.
And I was, that's a good thing.
That's a nice benefit for sure.
Okay, now, lead times of getting service. Granted, your place is service, commercial and recreational. What is a good rule of thumb?
A good rule of thumb, ideally you call a week in advance, and our guys can work you in that following week. They understand the needs of a motorhomers. They understand each one of our businesses that we're in, whether you're an entertainer, a motorhomer, a commercial bus operator that may have a fleet of vehicles. Typically, and they would not like me to say this, but the commercial bus guys that have fleets, they understand, and they're more willing to they have a driver drop a bus off, and then they'll come back and pick it up when we're finished with it. Typically when an RVer comes in, we know that that's your primary mode of transportation. You're on your way to another vacation spot or a business meeting or what have you. And so we're going to do everything we can to open up a bay to get you in, get you out, take care of you. And so that's part of our DNA that's in our company, because this is such an important core part of our business. So we understand, we don't take the attitude that, you're a leisure traveler, so you can just, typically you're coming through, you're going to be in an area, so we want to work you in, and we want to make that a definite priority.
And I'd say this is just my own personal testimony, that I had an issue that was a problem. Called in, said when I was passing through the Jacksonville area, came in that evening, hooked up, was seen at 7:30 in the morning, and I was on my way that same day. That was just great.
And I would think that's not unusual for our facilities. Our people understand.
It wasn't a safety issue. It's just an annoyance.
Yeah, but they know the sooner they can get you in and out, you're going to be happier, and they can send you on your way, and then they can get back and focus on that job that they pulled off.
And there's one other factor. You tell your friends.
Sure. That's huge.
That's the best type of advertising. Anything else that you'd like to add? If anybody who is considering their first coach might look at it and say, a Prevost as a first coach is crazy. I mean, I have a 57 flexible style on it. Any words of wisdom that you would give?
I think just do your homework like you did, Andy. I mean, there's a large Prevost community out there, Prevost Owners Group, who you got some help through. There's a large community out there. You can look us up on PrevostCar.com. There's all kinds of service numbers and my numbers on there. But I think it's talking to the community and going to the Prevost Owners Group, the POG site, and you'll just see discussion places.
Let me point out, I don't want to, I want to make sure what's fair is fair. Sure. I also spend a lot of time on the Prevost community.
Sure, Prevost community is a great site.
Both the Prevost community and Prevost Owners Group, one of them's free, one of them's $100 a year. Both of them are absolutely worth it, because when you're looking at this type of investment, to get different opinions is an important factor.
It is, and not every buyer, we realize, and our converters realize too, Andy, that not every buyer is the same. You're a very hands-on, technical guy. I got to say, this generation that's coming up behind you, as a whole, that generation is not used to a lot of hands-on. They grew up in an age where they get in a car, they turn the engine on, and they're gone. And if there is a problem, they call somebody and they've got a replacement and they're down the road. And so, so we have people that will never touch it, will have no interest in getting involved in the mechanics of how a bus operates. They just use it for the lifestyle. And then there's a whole group there, they really want to be as hands-on. I think you can, in the Prevost world, you can find a little bit of everything there. So I think it's a matter of doing your homework, talking to people, talking, doing your homework. There's the right coach out there. There's the right Prevost unit out there for everybody. It's just a matter of finding what you want and then joining groups or go out on your own. And it's a great lifestyle. And to do it in a Prevost product, I mean, you've really reached the pinnacle. And it's a driving machine too. And we don't emphasize that enough.
Pleasure.
We don't emphasize that enough as a industry. We tend to take that for granted, Andy. But I think anybody that comes out of something other than a Prevost and just gets behind the wheel, you'll see the simplicity of it. Again, we go into it with the mentality of it's designed to handle 56 passengers. So the driver needs to have that comfort level so the passengers aren't bebopping around. The entertainer industry, which is the exact same platform as yours, they travel around on this X platform. They have 12 guys sleeping in that unit, and it's critical that those men and women are sleeping every night from the venue that they leave at 2 a.m. in the morning to get them to their next hotel at 6 a.m. They need to sleep, they need to rest. So again, we think of that type of clientele when we're designing and everything we do when it comes to suspension. And so it's a natural, huge comfort for a motorhome or an RVer that gets in it with 2 people or a small family and driving around the country. They're totally a pleasure to drive.
I know I keep trying to end the interview, but you said entertain. I want to throw something in there. Before I focused on this coach, I did look at a pre-owned entertainer from Florida Coach. And let me say to them, they're some of the nicest people I have ever had the opportunity to mention. Caleb and Johnny, they took a day. We didn't do a video. It was just sitting down talking philosophy in Prevost. And, they're getting their coaches, their conversions. These entertainers, Willie Nelson is probably their most famous client. That they're starting to design them that when they come out of service, which is only a couple of years, maybe 80, 90,000 miles, that they're more easily adapted for recreational
That's
usage.
correct.
So, there's a lot out there to choose from.
There is.
And a lot of good places. Anyway, I want to thank you so much
Andy,
for your
it's a
time
pleasure
and
being
hospitality.
on with you today, and we're happy to provide any support you can imagine out here.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me say, we have another series that's online right now about just basically a newbie's guide to Prevost. So I'll put some links up here or somewhere here on the screen. The easiest way to keep posted of my newest segments or stories. Just go to facebook.com/The Gadget Guru and like us. Don't forget to subscribe to us right here on YouTube. That's it for now. I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr.